And we are live. Looks good. Nice and relaxing today. Apollo 11. "50 years in the making." 4 days from now, we will be celebrating when humankind first reached out and touched another celestial body. Not in a creepy kind of way. So hashtag me too. But let's get started here. One moment. Okay, I wish this thing would stop autocorrecting. Okay, let's post it on Twitter. I have to turn that fan on in a second. I'm getting kind of hot with this hat on. You guys should hit me up on Twitter. Everyone tries to hit me up on the chat. I don't check the chat. Hold on a second, please. This fan has to go on over here. I do apologize. So it's a little bit too warm in here today. Southeastern Pennsylvania is having an unprecedented heat wave that's been lasting since basically the end of May. Everyone calls it summer, but it's normally not 90 degrees for endless weeks at a time here. Fairly unusual. All right. Let me hop on my Kerbal Space Program IRC chat real quick here. Let it connect me up here. Yep, there we go. Channel soul. All right. Lettuce and onions get started here. I have not updated my Kerbal Space Program software version. Maybe I should do that first? I don't know. I feel like we should do that first. Not sure how to do that, actually. Whatever, we'll be fine. So we're going to go to the VAB. And we're going to design this just like they did back in the 1960s. We're going to go one piece at a time. So the first thing we're going to be doing is building the first stage. The first stage is, it's going to be beefy. So let's get a fuel tank here. That's a good one. Don't think it's going to be enough though, so we're just going to I've forgotten how to play. Right. I thought you could copy things by doing. Oh, okay, you just can't copy the core. All right. Because it's the only part there, so you can't double it. Something like that. So this is going to be the first stage, and yeah. I'm gonna add a few little bits on the side here. Make sure those are semi-level in reference to each other. And then we can also, we're not going to use, we're not going to put an engine on the bottom of the central core type thing. We're just going to, it's just a big fuel tank. So what we're going to do here is, we're going to put the nose cone on, and we're going to hope that this is enough fuel. And then at the top, we're going to put a fairing type thing. Where's that going to be? Structural. This dude here. Then we're going to go into this dude here. Then we're going to grab a big battery. We're going to go back to aerodynamics, grab the nose cone. And we're just going to test this super quick. And we're just gonna let's see. Joule 5S, or M for moon, or M1. So we're gonna launch this thing and see how it goes. Apparently CBS News is broadcasting So it's a stumpy little thing, but that's okay. We're going to bring up our resources here. Okay, we need to fix that, obviously. Okay, so we're going to... Okay. Alright, so we have to revert flight. Because we need to... Can't be having those things wobbling around while there's all that mass above it. So we have to auto strut. Rigid attachment on. That looks fine. Save and let's try this again. Right, there we go. So we're going to try and get this thing into space if we can. That would be pretty cool if that was... Try and turn it now. We're not going to do a roll program. I don't think we need it. Okay, let's... Throttle at max Q, throttle down at max Q. Okay, we're just gonna... Sorry, wrong button. It's been a while since I played this, so we're gonna... So where are we? 121. So the Apollo... The Saturn V rocket was built to continuously thrust, as most rockets were back in the day. Because two things: one, that would provide what's called a thrust bearing the entire time. It would be pushing against the thrust would be bearing against the entire body of the rocket, all the the structural loading parts, and what that would do is it would provide force to steer it if there need be. You turn it off, then even those little fins on the bottom, you didn't really need the fins, but they weren't necessarily for steering. They were mainly just for stability. And if you turn that thrust off, right, suddenly you can't steer at all. So that's kind of like what we're doing here. Now we can cut that off. We're going to try and just bring it about here a little bit. So yeah, it's kind of interesting actually. Okay, I'm just going to cut it out there. Wow, this is really high up. We're going to warp there. Getting into orbit shouldn't be too much of a fuss with this. One thing I am concerned about slightly is, yeah. So this is at 400. We're trying to get up to 7,500, 75,000 meters, which is okay. So this is enough to get Let me see. Let's just keep going and thrusting and see where it takes us. So this is plenty enough for us to get escape. And what kind of orbit? Pretty decent elliptical orbit, actually. So we're going to go in here. So we're drifting now just because, again, we don't have any thrusters of any kind. And the Apollo, the Apollo rockets that all of the Saturn, I think Saturn 1B was one of them. They didn't have RCS, as far as I know. I mean, I'm not an expert by any means. I believe only the crewed part of it, the part where the crew was, had any type of maneuvering system at all. So the service module and the command module were all the reaction control system. So we're gonna take this off. Okay. All right, and if we need to add tanks, we can. I do think that is probably enough thrust, but we're gonna add something on the bottom here, just to give it that little bit more of, is this the big one, or is this the big one? No, it's definitely this one. So let's see here. Now, originally I wasn't going to do anything underneath here, but I think this needs one of these guys right here. Of course. No, I need to grab it and then press it. There we go. Okay. Now we're just gonna grab this. Scooch it down like that. So, and that'll give us just a little bit of centralized thrust as well. So we're gonna turn the gimbal off. The shroud doesn't work. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure what that's actually even for. Right. Okay. We definitely want this to activate after. And we also want some of these little dudes to just fire when we fire that thing. That way, it's been a bit since I've played this, unfortunately. So we're gonna. Okay, so. That's the staging, and we're gonna leave it like this for now. That's a pretty beefy engine setup that we have. Plenty of control and steering. Okay, now we're gonna do the second stage. Not sure what I should do for the second stage. I mean, technically there was, I think, like, it was just it was another F1 engine, but yeah. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, let's see, this one is it's 2,000. I can't even see properly. And this one is 1,000. So this one has actually excellent profile. Okay, and then so that's the second stage. And this actually, you know, has to activate after. Silly KSP. So we're gonna obviously put one of these dudes up here. And then we're probably gonna go with one of these for up here. And I think that's gonna be it for the second stage. Now looking at this is not going to be sufficient. So we're gonna be shrewd here and toss that. And we're gonna grab one of these guys. No. I don't remember which one it is. It's not this one, obviously. Can't be that one. No. I might not need anything. Let's just see. I need the big orange sickle. Where the heck is the orange sickle? There it is. There we go. So we can indeed actually use these guys here. So there we go. Now that looks like a serious contender right there. So we're gonna save, and we're gonna do something kind of cool now. Okay, so check this out. We're gonna go. This does need more fuel, but it can't be more vertical than it is already. Plus, there's a big. Let me just. There we go, and then. Okay, there we go. It just has to be tied into itself, and then so we're gonna grab fuel tank. And I got 4 of these dudes. And we're going to make them look like they're just kind of sitting on the side there. Like so. And we want to make sure that the fuel lines are appropriately attached. So we're just going to very discreetly just make sure that this is feeding in here. And same with these guys. We're just going to take a quick fuel line and we're just going to take here, and then we're going to take from here to there. That way they're feeding into each other, and yeah, that works. Because we want the fuel at the top to empty first. So we're going to go and so there we go. That works. Okay. So we have the first stage and we have the second stage, and obviously we need some separatrons here as well. Because it's not nearly as big of a piece, we're just going to go with half the amount. Well, not half the amount, but a smaller amount of separatrons. Okay, and let's see here. Take it up here. Okay. We need another stack separator here. Stack separator will go up with these separatrons, so this will all be in one happy group here, and this one is in the other happy group down here. Okay, saving. Right, so now we go to the what's a translunar injection orbit type stage. Okay, so we're going to go into structural. We're going to do this kind of thing, and then we're going to make a transition to a smaller engine, J something kind of, I don't remember exactly. I want to make sure that we have a decoupling mechanism here. But unlike the other ones, this is actually going to, yeah, one moment here. There we go. And of course, we need our trusty, rusty, dusty separatrons, right? Actually, no. We're not going to do it here. We're going to do it up here. Okay, so that's what we got so far. Let's see what our stats are. Something kind of tons there. Okay, so now we have to, actually, no, that's not going to work. No, that's going to work. Let's just take that off. I just realized something. No big deal. So now we need very complicated stage here. So remember, this is a tribute. It's not going to be exactly. So we have this giant first stage, sort of a more large to medium large second stage. And then after the second stage, we're going to do something a little tiny bit different, okay? So we're going to keep this width here because we have to honor the width of our command pod, okay? So the command pod's going to sit up here, maybe up here. Then we're going to have a this type of thing, and under that we're going to have an octo. No, wait a minute. Okay, so I'm going to have to design this from like the top down from here. It looks like. All right, so this is going to be part of the landing thing. So, all right, we're going to have another stage in here, but I'm going to design that last because I need to know how much. Okay, so we have the command module, the service module, and we need to have a bigger. Okay, so we have this part. Oh, that's right. It doesn't even need to. Pardon me. It doesn't need to make sense. So 2. Okay, I'm just stacking up the parts that I'm going to need. So we have 3 in here, 2 in here. Get rid of this thing. Right, and then of these, and then we're just gonna do that, and then we're gonna take this guy. No, wait, was that the right one? Yeah, actually, it might be. Yes, it is. Okay, so this is gonna be our little lander bit here. It's upside down, obviously, right now. But then we need. This is going to be the challenging part, I can tell. So we're going to ditch all of that stuff, and we're just going to it looks a little bit odd, so I'm just going to approximately the same. I'm going to try and get this as close as possible because the smaller the mass, any type of asymmetry will be severely punished. Okay, so we're just going to make sure that these are as close as possible. Yeah, that looks okay. So we have the RCS fuel for that, and then we have, yeah, this is going to take a bit. This is going to be challenging. So we're going to take that off for now. We go into the utility bit, and we're going to grab these honkin'-ass giant parachutes, and we're going to do this. We're going to do this kind of thing. Take this off. And then we're going to have another one. Another set right down here. So we have full parachute coverage, but we're not using up parachutes on here. And that's accurate to the Apollo mission. Their parachutes were actually out the side of the cone, the capsule. They came out the side. If they were on top, how would they dock? And on the back, you have the heat shield and the service module, so it wouldn't work. But so we're gonna take this off for now. We're gonna build up a little service module. So we're gonna take one of these dudes. And let's see where we're going here. A couple of batteries. We're gonna take just a frick ton of RTGs, and we're just gonna, it's a radiothermal generator, and we're just gonna pop them on like this. We're gonna want them definitely so in the center kind of thing. Then we're gonna take the move it tool, just tuck them in. Okay. And we're gonna enclose all of this in a fairing. So let's do that real quick. So we're going to just we're going to put this probably here, and we're going to put these guys inside here. And we're just going to say that it's yay big. So we still actually need to, so we're going to move this over here. We're going to bring this, so we need a heat shield as well. We're going to bring the big heat shield. Is this the right? Oh, nope, too big. So this also needs to house some communications gear. So we're going to grab probably this little guy right here. Just the one, please. Okay, and then we're going to put this thing right here. Then we're going to there we go. That's no good. What we're going to do is we're going to take one of these dudes. There we go. Now we have a proper type situation going on here. So we're going to go up. Okay. Then we are going to pull this off of here and make the transition piece. I said make the, wait, what? Wait, what the hell is going on here? Something screwy is going on here. Okay, I am profoundly confused as to why that's doing that. You have to be kidding me. What is going on here? This I can redo, so I'm going to get rid of that. What is going on? Right, I'm not sure. Some sort of game corruption or something. Yeah, I figure it'll sort it out here. I didn't press save when I should have. This is my lesson. Now wait. Yeah, what's even here? Yeah, right, that's not gonna work. Yeah. Right, so we're gonna revert flight. That's, Are we building Apollo 1 now with the tragic accident? I don't even. Okay. Yeah, so crashing it and doing that. So we do save, but we're not doing this quite yet. So this is not going to attach directly to here. So we're gonna pop this off. Okay. And in fact, this will have another fairing on it. And we're going to have a tiny little decoupler. In fact, actually, yeah, that'll do. Okay, and then we're going to have our lander, right? Our lunar lander. So we're going to go up to pods, lander can. Now keep in mind that this actually has to be upside down for this to work. And then, so that's the ascent part. Okay. We're gonna grab some, yeah, we definitely need some solar panels. Make sure this isn't fouling anything. Okay, that should be all it needs, but of course we're going to add a cheeky little RTG in here just to make sure there's enough power. I don't think Michael Collins, Neil Armstrong, well, the late Neil Armstrong, I don't think they'd begrudge me a little extra sort of layer of protection there. I don't think they would mind that. All right, so gonna get our thrusters on here. Right, they actually do have to be. So we got them centered here. Oh, they're not centered. Oh, what the hell? Oh, okay. So we're gonna have to move these guys. Okay. I believe that's centered. Now we gotta put these ones here. And another one here. Make sure they're all. Okay. And obviously this needs a little bit of monopropellant. We're going to be a cheeky again with that. We're going to pop this off and we're going to put the monopropellant here. And we're going to just tuck this on down. As such. Right, so we didn't see that. And we're going to take I need to, right, so that is actually on the other side as well. So we're going to just, right, now just make sure that this is all tied in together. Save, obviously. As we're saving, we should probably just pop that bit on real quick, save it so it's all together. Take this off. And we're going to, so this is the part that comes back up and the ascent module. Now we need to make the descent module, which is going to be interesting. So basically it's just going to be a giant one of these things with a ton of monoprop all around it. You know what? I'm going to try and space it so there's a gap there with the door. Okay, this does actually need to be separated here. We're going to have to put a little fuel tank in here. That's going to be a tough one. And then we're just going to use a spike to get out of there, something like that. No, we can't couple to that, can we? Is this the smallest one to carry? Oh, that's huge. Okay. Skipper, turn. Alright. Oh, we're just going to go with this. And, oh, no. There's this. Is this the spark? Right. Oh, that's way too small. So we'll just go with the tail. Right. And then we need to have another stage separator type thing right here. Actually, right, so where's this decoupler? It needs to be way up here. Yeah, this staging is all shuttlemuck. It's all screwed up. But we are going to, we're actually going to build an upside down fairing here. Okay. Got a little Sepratron in there, and all that's good. So this also needs to be way up here. It's going to look a little bit awkward just because the spacing and everything is just really strange. Nothing I can really do about it, unfortunately. So this is going to be the descent stage. And we're going to grab just a whole ton of these RCS dudes. We're going to mount 2 of them per tank. Oh, okay. So this is going to help us take that edge off coming down. If we can place, that'd be great. Okay, so now let me just go through this real quick here. So this is the ascent stage. Fuel tank. There's the RCS in there. Solar, RKG. The only thing this does not have is where is this guy here? Oh, right. So this is the lander dude. Okay. So we're going to take this guy. I'm just going to mount it right here. Pokes out too much. Okay, so we're going to actually mount it right here. And then we're going to swivel it in. Okay, that looks pretty good. Actually, we're just gonna take this. Okay, so let's back up and see what we got here. So we have the ascent stage, the descent stage. Now we just need the descent stage motor, which is going to be one of these guys, but we're gonna flip it. Actually, we're just going to make it one of these. There we go. Okay. So this needs this staging is all kinds of screwed up. So we're going to bring this fairing, and we're just going to arc it out over everything here. Definitely need to get a different perspective there. Okay, nope. Okay, no. Okay, so we're going to build that last, I guess, which is fine. So here we go. Now keep in mind that we still need another stage here to boost this into lunar orbit. So I think this might be an issue. Let's see how this mounts. Right, okay. Right, so it's going to look a little bit weird. Okay. So now we can take this bit off and we can make another little stage here. So we're going to have, what kind of engine are we going to have? I would say a mainsail engine. Right. Right, okay, and then we're going to right, okay, so we're going to grab that. Okay, so now we're going to mount this here. And mount this here with the fairing that I have to, it seems like I have to place it back again. Okay. Not sure why I have to keep putting that back, but let's just go with save. It's very odd, but yeah. So what we're going to grab here real quick. Yeah, I'm not really a big fan of this here. This looks like a bad time. So I'm going to grab this and this. And instead we're just going to make a big fairing. Yeah, I think I'm a fan of that instead. It's a little bit more seamless. So now we just gotta tie all this together. The root part? What the hell? See, strut heaviest part. We gotta auto strut this dude. Heaviest part, and I think that should be good. Okay, let's save it, and then we have to check all of our staging, which is definitely not correct as this at this moment. So we have engines and parachutes in the same stage. So the parachutes should be in their own stage at the very, very, very top. So this should be down here. Okay. And this right here. No, it's this part here. So I don't know where this is from, but we're gonna put that in a separate thing. This is here. Alright, okay, so wait. Okay, so that's together. Here's the next shroud. Yeah, I'm not sure where that is. Okay, so in the shroud. That's way too far down. Oh my gosh. Okay, where? Where the hell is that? Okay, I actually cannot find where this is. This one. Okay. Wow, the staging on this is completely screwed up. So these, all of these fairings need to be like up near the top. We'll just take all the fairings and just bring them up. Get them out of the way. Okay, so where's this guy? So this is up near the top as well. I'm not sure what's down there. Where is this? I still don't know where the hell that is. Yes, where the hell is this one? Ah, it's down here. Okay. This definitely has to be after that. All right. Okay. We're just going to launch it as is at this point. I'm not going to steer it. I'm just purely a test because the staging on this is wacky beyond my comprehension currently. All right, so here we go. Full power, 3, 2, 1. Yes. This is what I am talking about right here. And do that, whatever. I don't mean it as a gender thing. I should know that better. This isn't working. Oh, weird. I guess it's draining the outer tanks first. It's kind of bizarre. Not sure how that works. There we go. Okay, so this is this one and these guys. Okay, that's cool. So this is empty, this is still full. Throttling down. Throttling back up. Aerodynamic forces are in check. There's no escape tower. Sorry guys, I can't manage that with everything else. They have to be able to dock somehow. Maybe I can mount it on top of the docking thing. I don't know. If I can, I will. We'll see. Yeah, I want the outer bits to kind of drain first. That'll show me how much fuel I have left on this side over here. Almost empty. Very, very nice separation there. Okay, so we have our first little bump. So this Alright, so this is purely a test here, so that needs to move, and this is... So we need to add this and this. Bring this down here. Now the staging is all over the place here. So at this point, we can probably say that we're going to cut this engine. We're going to warp it here. Normally we wouldn't do it this way, but I'm just trying to test the staging at this point. Nothing more or less. So we're just going to steer it on track here and max thrust. Now I'll make sure the orbit is doing orbity type stuff here. Normally I would have started this burn earlier, but I'm pretty sure we have enough fuel here. I don't think we've even gotten to the... Okay, so we do actually need a bit more oomph. Okay. But we should have enough to get this in orbit. If not more. But we don't want to be... We don't want that to be... Oh, okay. No. Yeah, we don't want that to be growing. Okay, we can swap that out. That's fine. So it can get into orbit now, but now we're not trying to get into orbit, are we? Now we can go full hog and just see if we can get a lunar intercept near somewhere in the relative area of this orbit. And see how much fuel we have left. A little bit more efficient. Boop. All right, so we do have a little bit of an intersect there. Set as target. Now we're just gonna have to wait for an intercept at this point. Actually, we're not going to. We're going to be so close. Oh my gosh. Look how close that is. Dang it. But we're not. It looks like we're missing it, but actually what we're doing, we may not need a third stage, actually. So let's do that. And then we're gonna, okay, so there's the moon right over there. Okay, so we are in general facing the wrong direction. So we're gonna bring up the lights. We do need lights actually. Ooh, that's the one thing I forgot is lights. This is all just a test. And bring it around. Whoa, 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 whoa. Going back. Back. That seems good. And okay. Cut. And we're going to grow this orbit nice and healthily, whatever the proper word is. Okay, we've got ourselves an intercept here. So we are going to fast the frick forward. That's actually really funny. We're going to bring it back down. We have to very quickly do this so we can orient ourselves for a lunar thingamabob. Okay, so now we have to slow down. Oh, we have to slow down actually. So we're gonna slow down. We're gonna warp a little bit closer here. A little bit closer, maybe even a lot closer, I'm not really sure. Okay, I think what we're going to do here is we're going to let ourselves get this side, and then we're going to build this up and close it back up again. Okay, so we're going to Okay, I don't know what's happening. Are we out of fuel? Looks like we're out of fuel. Okay. So we're gonna jettison this dude. We're going to deploy. And we're going to separate. All right, so we do have a third stage. I actually forgot about that, but I don't think it has a fuel tank at all. No, it doesn't. So we're going to deploy. And we're going to deploy. So now we are going to send can I not decouple that? Crap. Whoops. Well, it looks like we're not getting back because there's no fuel tank here. That's just an engine. Let's see if we can do this. Let's see if we can. The only issue is that this service module can't. Okay, so we have a little bit of an issue here, but it can get there. And you know what? Let's go all the way. If we're already this way, we're gonna decouple node. Okay. Limited probe control. Okay, so we're gonna revert flight. VAB. So we don't have probe control at all. We don't have any relay thingamabobs. So that's fine. Oh, I'm gonna get a little bit more tea here in a moment. Okay, I've been doing this for about an hour now. So we figured out that this thing does not have a fuel tank, which, if I'm frankly honest with you, is disastrous. So we're gonna just add a little. Please don't tell me Please don't tell me I just deleted that entire thing. All right, I definitely need a tea break here. No, I don't. No. I don't want to save it because it won't have the. Now, that was a massive disaster. I think I just saved this part here. That's great. Oh my god. So we have Joule 5M. Wow. Okay, well, I think I need to take a little bit of a break, and when we get back, ay. There's no back button on this, is there? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Oh my god, this is, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize for this embarrassing disaster, but before I go on my little break here, before I go on my little break here, we're gonna okay. I'll be back in a sec, folks. This is embarrassing. I'm back. Sorry about that. My mom called. She has a electronics purchasing question. Plus, I needed a little break. I'm making some tea right now. It's water's heating up. I'm gonna be back for a second. Now, so I'm not back. I'm just double checking some stuff on here. So basically, this is our package. This is the package that's going to the moon. Okay, and we forgot a few things. One of them being lights. So we're going to address that. And I put the little detacher here so this can actually separate from. So this is the lander, and this is like the service module and the SM and the, I forget the other one. Oh my god, yeah, I'm blanking. I'm doing this like seat of my pants here, so just yeah. I love space stuff. I love Kerbal Space Program as a way to express my passion and interest in sort of aerospace type stuff. But so the command module and the service module, and I'm not sure what this is. Oh, this is part of the. Alright, so we are actually going to take this. We need to then, oops. Yeah, let's tuck this in here a bit. Okay, and then we're gonna take, okay, it's cleared now, so we gotta grab our RTGs real quick here. We're only gonna do 4 of those. We're not gonna be super cheaty about it. Should we put this on? So this is basically the package that's going to the moon. And we totally forgot to include the part of the hardware that brings it back. And that's the aft section of the service module. So instead of having this thing here, we're just gonna take this out completely. We're gonna take this and we're gonna flip it around. And let's see what else we need to do here. So this is the interior of the service module right here. So we can take this off. I don't remember how they had it mounted in the fairing. I think the landing module was anchored down into the 3rd stage, and this was sort of up, resting on the top of those fairing panels, those sort of angled looking ones. So what we're going to do, I think, is grab a fuel tank. Maybe this one? No, we need something smaller. Something like that, maybe. So we're gonna and then I think we're gonna grab another one of these guys. No, we're gonna grab. Actually, I think what we could probably do is use one of these, right? And then we're going to grab the engine, and the engine probably has to be a Reliant, something like that. And this kind of just hooks to there. Then we have to redo the fairing, which is no big deal. But what I would like to do actually before we do the fairing, we're going to delete fairing. Okay, so what we're going to do here is anchor this in real quick. Okay, I just heard the kettle go off, so just give me a sec here. And since this is going to be going down to the surface of the lunar surface, and we're going to leave it there, I think what we're going to end up doing is something like that. That way it's actually anchored. And then this thing, you can detach this thing. Now I just need landing legs. So we're going to take these and remove those. Okay, so now we're going to go grab the legs. Okay. Okay. We might even be able to get away with something smaller, like something like this. Yeah, I actually like that a lot more. So we're going to see what that does. Well, what is this? Okay. So now these are actually too small for the job. We're going to have to go with these ones here. So yeah, there we go. So we have a few different things here. Okay. We're going to save that for now because it's already awash with the launch vehicle. So I will be right back. I'm going to go make some text. Yes, I'm going to make a text thing, but I'm going to make my tea. And I'm just going to pop that right here. And I shall be right back. I'm going to go make my tea real quick here. All right, I'm back for a moment. Um, Steeping. I got my yogurt here. So, I'm not gonna put the music on or any of that right now. Just trying to chill for a little bit. So everything here is basically sorted out. We have lander, we have all of this stuff kind of sorted out. The only thing we do not have is the third stage, which would be going right here, kind of thing. So I think I kind of remember what the launch vehicle looked like, but the third stage is what we're going to be using to get there and back, right? Basically, before I just had the engine there, and I accidentally dragged the whole thing over and clicked on this gray side, the gray thing on the side. But let me just remove. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to just get a huge fuel tank, big, 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 big honking son of a gun, and we're just going to put just a freaking Rhino. No, too small. We're just going to put one of these dudes at the back here, and because this is such a huge hunk of hardware there, we can do something really cool actually. So what we're going to be doing is this is going to be exposed, right? So this is going to be where the fairings start. This is going to hook up. This fairing down here is going to hook up to here, and this one's going to hook up to here. And we'll figure this part out in a moment. But the other part is that we need a crew. So we need a pilot. And we need a scientists. And then we're going to go and get an engineer. That's my tea steeping. I have a minute here, so we're going to have a female pilot because, yeah, because women can do anything that men can do, in addition to that, they can also have babies. So yeah, women are awesome. Anyway, yeah, I think we're good here. We have a scientist, an engineer, and the pilot and the scientists are going to be they're going to be going down. Kerbal is not going to be going to the moon surface, unfortunately, but Panfil and Kerbal, they're going to be going down there. So now we have that taken care of. We're just going to do a save real quick. And then we're going to, what I would like to do is, with this part of it, this is going to be the upper stage here, right? Well, firstly and foremostly, we're going to build this fairing here. And we're going to just hook it to there. No, I want to close it. Why won't it let me close it? There we go. So that looks good. And then we're going to bring this guy's going to come out a little tiny bit. We're going to come up here. And I think we're going to place that, and then we're just going to close the fairing, and it's going to look a little bumpily, but I don't have a problem with it. So that's going to be the upper bits. This part here is going onto the moon, and this one's coming. This part's coming back. The only thing we do need up here is this dude right here. Yeah, so we need to address that real quick because yeah, this thing needs another. This thing needs like a yeah, something like that, and then we can mount that to the fairing thing. Get messages here. Excessive heat warning until the 21st. That's great. I'm going to be out in that tomorrow. That's just great. Okay, so what we're going to do is just grab, and we're going to grab this. Okay, I'm not sure what this thing is trying to do here, but we need. Okay, okay, no, so we're gonna. Okay, I'm not sure what. Okay, so we're gonna. There we go. Okay, so then this guy's gonna go here. Alright, I'll be back in a sec. I gotta grab my tea. Oh, yeah, I'll be back. Be right back. Gotta feed the cats. One moment, please. All right, I have my tea, and I have some very naughty chocolate, but I'm going to save the chocolate for after I'm done my yogurt. Oh, pro tip for anyone who loves tasting things and trying new flavors and all that, and just if you have an idea of something you want to try, or something you know you like, and you're going to try it again, cheese and chocolate, they don't do well. If you have cheese and then you try to eat chocolate, you won't. It's something to do with the casein, maybe? I don't remember. Especially if it's more complex chocolate. Alrighty, so let's get back on mission here. Beautiful, beautiful music. Please tune in and subscribe. This is really ridiculous. Not sure why that's happening. Yeah, I'm going to be out in the heat tomorrow. Should be interesting. I'm going to be full on, dressed all in white, reflective. I'm going to be wearing my sun hat, sun sleeves. I'm going to be full on survival frickin' mode tomorrow. I'm going to make some iced tea for myself. I'm going to make that this evening. And have it ready and put it in the fridge so I have it for tomorrow. And then I'm going to have, normally I don't do anything cold when I'm out and about because it's not really great for the tummy. But yeah, I'm going to have a bunch of nice, cool things, and it's going to be good. I'm going to be okay. It's going to be all right. Okay, so I swear if this is it, if this is what saved, then we're going to have a problem here because I am getting quite frustrated with this. Seven parts. Right, so I'm gonna have to update the game. I usually use the launcher, but I'm gonna have to go dig around and look for the launcher here. This is really, yeah. Anyway, I think it's in here. Yeah. That looks like the right one. Ooh, there's a hair. Nope, didn't get it. Still didn't get it. I have to grab a little piece of paper towel here. Get the hair out of there. The fan over there is on the floor, so I probably just kicked up cats and all that. There we go. Just put it over there. Right. Click the update. You guys can't see this, but I'm actually in the launcher right now, and it is not working. Okay, we're gonna go back. There we go. I think that's the right one. It's up to 1.7 now, Kerbal Space Program, or 2.7, something like that. But yeah, I haven't done the update through the launcher in many, many, many months. Did this pop back up? Yes, it has. Okay. Very sorry about the delay here, folks. I thought the game would work, and apparently okay, not sure what this is all doing here. Okay, there's stuff going on finally. Settings. Can I update it from here? I'm gonna have to leave it on here for a sec while I go in. Ah, come on, man. Shameful. This is shameful. You're bringing shame down on the house of Armstrong and Aldrin and Collins. When this game first came out in the earlier stages, 1.0 and all that stuff, there were some bugs. But oh my gosh. Nothing game stopping like that. I have yogurt on my nose from earlier this morning. Store. Now I have to like select. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I have to reset my bed. This is ridiculous. Come on, man. I don't like the new Kerbal Space Program website either. It's well, this is not going as I planned, of course, but that's okay. I don't think the moon missions did either. So while we're waiting, I think we're going to just do cancel. We're just going to do something else for the time being. This is 1.5. So while we're poking around doing all this other stuff, we're going to do something a little bit different. I actually forgot to put on my Kerbal X link. It's just transit biker. It's just deleting some emails that I don't need. Okay. Actually, I can't do that. I have to. Okay. Pardon me. File not found, huh? Save file. There we go. Okay. So while that's doing that, we're gonna. I actually lost a bunch of craft a while back, and that's one of the reasons I haven't streamed KSP as much. When I say I lost a bunch of craft, I mean probably about 60 different craft I lost. 60 unique craft, including ones I built for my girlfriend and the kids, which was completely and utterly frustrating. So while that is doing its thing, still downloading. That's good. Wow. We were getting we were getting close. Wow, that's the first time I've done that. We were getting about 90 megabit per second download. Kudos to Private Division for hosting KSP files properly. And it makes a difference. It used to be a lot slower. That's 11 megabytes per second for just anyone who's wondering. So now we're just gonna go in there and update the program. Let's see what we got in here first, though. Let's do something crazy. I want to do something crazy. I had to sort of consolidate. I had a bunch of different KSP versions and so on and so forth, but this should, well, at least I thought it would. I deleted a bunch of stuff. I wanted to sort of just condense it all down to one thing, and then I ended up deleting the one of the KSP folders that I actually wanted to condense everything down into. And I was left with this, and it doesn't have half the files that I used to. No, I don't think that's really going to work. Pardon me. It looks funny though, doesn't it? So on the Kerbal Space Program IRC channel, there is a level of ridiculousness in design and concept that is actually has my name on it. It has to be. It's not transit biker enough, or that is very transit biker, or that's not very transit biker at all. I take a huge amount of pride in that. Okay. Let's do this one. Yeah, oh, look at this guy. Yes, we will launch it. So, concept here is pretty simple. It's supposed to look like a pterodactyl with all the feet and all that. So it's also laboratory test bed type thing. I actually forgot where. That's not very graceful. That's not a very graceful tail, is it? Really isn't. Someone was having this kind of problem here the other day. It's caused by landing gear, but it's also caused by thrust versus um, your various control surfaces, which, as you can see, are many. These active? These engines can get hot, so we're just gonna help them cool down. And they do actually heat up, which is, I think, is kind of cool. When I say heat up, I mean they pull the heat out of the rest of the craft. Oh. Nick. Oh, it's another one. Interesting. So we do not actually have any. I don't know how crazily this is going to crash here, so we're just gonna try to. I think the tails, the twin tails, are definitely going to be coming off. So. Whoa, this deployment of destroyed part. Oh, okay. Hmm. How are we supposed to get all this data off of here then? Oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. Ah, whatever. So I cut the engines out. I'm gonna pull up at the last possible friggin' second here. Get it under 50. Whoa, that's not where I wanted to go with it. Yeah, it's going to come down a little bit hard now. Okay, look, it's intact. Can we actually deploy this now? Oh, it can't deploy while it's flying, I guess. Okay. So our main lifting surfaces are actually up out of the water there, which is a very good thing. Looks like we're dead in the water. Let's take the SAS off and initially climb right off. It's hopeless. Okay, I'm gonna close this out. It's ready to go. Okay. I think it was having issue with the program being open. I'm gonna be doing Minecraft too today. Not sure what server I'm or whatever I'm gonna be playing on, but yeah, we're definitely gonna be doing that today. A mosquito bite back here. It doesn't itch, but it's, yeah, it's weird. So now this thing's installing, and I can't have Kerbal Space Program open while Kerbal Space Program is being installed. So, tea and chocolate. What a horrible life I live. Knock on wood, obviously. I'm very fortunate to have amazing friends and family. Even though I definitely have my challenges. I know this is riveting stuff. It's about 70, maybe 80%. No, I think it's like 80% now. 85, 90%, 95%. Finishing up. Finish. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back in business. Yay! Canned applause, right? All right. A little bit of tendonitis. Stretching. Oh, yeah, I can feel it right in there. I need to crack my neck or something. There we go. Some kind of kink going on here. Oh, there we go. I got it. Right back here. Right between the shoulders. Fuzzy. Oh. Sorry about that. So now we have altitude to ground and altitude to sea level, which is extremely useful if you don't know the altitude that you are going to be landing on. Cool. One dot 7.3. You see it. Here we go. Make sure everything is set up here. All right. So let's get flying here, huh? We'll be like Scott Manley and we'll fly safe. Not really. We're gonna be fly safe. We're gonna put flies inside of the safe. That's our version of flying safe. or rocket propelled safe. Oh, I am a goofy guy. You know, at one point I had 120 flights going on that one save, but then that save was deleted by myself. Guilty as charged. Unfortunately. Oh, and speaking of personal stuff, I lost some weight recently. I gained a whole bunch, and I've been sort of cutting it back now, which is very happy about. So I'm celebrating with my chocolate bar. That's, I know it's a little bit stupid, but whatever. Interesting. So we are going to exit to the DAB. We're going to try this again. I'm going to use an existing launch vehicle. No, I probably won't be able to. It's fine. Whatever. It's done. It's gone. I can't believe I put all that work and it just disappeared into this thing over here. So we're going to look for the Mongoose. Space Station 12. Space Station 12 crew. I don't know which one this is. I think this might be the Space Station core without the ferry. Right. Yeah, okay. So this is the Space Station core without the ferry. All right. Let's just launch this instead. Build ferry. Nope, I don't want it to close in on that actually. Okay. Let me go in here and look at this. Engines. I don't see anything new. That's definitely new. Some new textures and stuff. All right, let's save this and launch. Pardon me. So the main reason I have the fan going today is just it's just warm enough in here that having this hat on is. I need to cut my hair. It's. Whew. So my skin's cold, but up here is not. You know, big old head. Lots of thought stuff going on inside there. So yeah. Let me just check on the stream here real quick. Oh, hello, Alice Fun Yacht. Hello, hello. So this is the goofiest thing ever, but it works and it's amazing, and we will launch the sucker now. Have to keep an eye on here because they added maneuver mode. Have to keep an eye on that. We don't want those little indicator things to be doing anything weird. They can start moving slowly in one direction, but they can't be jumping anywhere. And they definitely cannot be oscillating. So instead of like assembling a space station in orbit and sending a crew up, I'm sending the whole thing up all at once with the crew. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to send up a power and propulsion stage. So that should be fun. See if I can dock those. Well, stuff getting a little bit squirrely there. It's okay though. We're doing all right. I would know basically immediately if there was a problem aerodynamically. But I can see that big old Q-tip going on. Look at that. I have to clean my ears out. Look at this thing. The big pill. It's a hard pill to swallow. Let's look inside of here. Everything seems good. Geez, those are just clearing the fairing. That's funny. But actually, there's a little good bit of margin in there. That's not too bad. Okay. So this is how much fuel is left in the stage versus, yeah, so you can see I prefer doing it that way, actually. So this is feeding the engines and also the bottom of the two tanks there, so we can empty this out more quickly. Okay. Things are going pretty well. Nothing to report back home over in the control input area, which is always a good thing. Nothing to write home out there. That's cool. The sea level terrain. Okay, that's normal. We're gonna throttle down a bit. Okay, we're good. Everything's fine. Core stage still burning. All right, we're doing all right here. We are doing all right. Oh, I slept really, really horribly the other night, and it's just kind of, there we go. It's kind of stayed with me, unfortunately. Okay. So we are going to start to turn here. Very, very gentle and careful. Okay, we're out of the atmosphere now. I'll bring this on up. Okay. Keep bringing it over, bring it over. Stop. Go. And then get rid of that fairing there. And we are on course. Everything is groovy. Okay, so we have a few things. So we do have one open docking area here. And where are right? Okay, so I'm gonna see what our orbital situation looks like. Keep in mind, we have plenty of fuel left. So because we still weigh 215 tons, we have a little bit more to go. Drifting a bit. I have to look and see the exact pixels where the indicator's laying on. So currently we have one crew. Let's get info on the crew. Pilot, Tanfil Kerman. Okay. Cool, cool. So we have 4 orbital tugs. I think those can handle 3 or 4. I don't remember. Might be 3. I honestly don't remember. And we got one little sort of runabout here. A manned little. I call it like, I don't know. Let's turn some lights on though. So, but this thing can go all around everywhere. It can dock both. It has a big docking port and a little docking port. It doesn't have the tiny one though, which is kind of useless. But yeah, and then we have these docking ports here that are free on both sides, and we have one that's open here. So this is basically a bare bones thing with the orbital tugs added on there, just for a little bit of additional value for, these orbital tugs are 90% self-sufficient. They do need refueling. Well, not monoprop, but they can go all over Kerbal orbit by themselves, and you can stack them up on each other, and you can even stack them up. And if one of these is still in orbit, because this has a remote guidance unit, you can actually take one of these things with all the monoprop in it, and you can stack these guys up and just go off on a mission, which is pretty awesome, I think. So that gives you a range of almost anywhere in the Kerbal system. So the space station B1, I believe that those are unmanned. They're just 12 orbital tugs, and that's basically it. Right. Okay. Yeah, we're pretty high up here, which is fine. Space space launcher, large crew. So that is the bottom parts of the stages there, and then we have polar crew base, and then we have crew power module, which this, I think that I might have screwed that up. I don't remember. All right, so we're gonna let this get out to about 300, and then we're gonna cut it. So we're gonna pull this back in here. Then, right, sweet. Okay, so at this point, this thing has a whole bunch of fuel left in it. However, we don't need it. So what we're going to do here is, you can let me grab the damn thing. Okay, so we're going to cut these out. Still have 1,096 meters per second of delta V. I don't know what that means, so I don't really care. Decouple node. And now we're going to use this to move us out of the way here. Okay, do we have any solar panels here that we can extend? I forget actually. Doesn't look like we do, but we have tons of the, oh yeah, we have this guy on the top there. I forgot about that, that's cool. Okay, so we are going to just fly on back to this dude. That's gonna go off and do its own thing. Now we can just kind of do a 180. Not too much of a 180. No, it does not have any roll control, unfortunately. And that is now going to fall back. If I can get that, you can see how this orbit is decayed enough where it is going to be impacting Kerbal somewhere back in that area. So we're just going to fast forward this, and there it goes. Okay, so that's away, and the debris that was coming up with us, that's away. All right. Successful space station launch. Bring up the lights again. Electric charge is good. Everything looks good. So the station crew, I'm going to be building another thing that has a capsule and then a hitchhiker module. And that's going to be a, originally I had a whole bunch of these little capsules and stuff, and some of these with the, see how these don't have the docking pieces? Well, these are permanent, and I don't want anything docked here. And if they do want to dock, they're going to have to use like a claw or something. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 open docking ports in this configuration. If this leaves, that makes 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we have our RCS booster fuel over here that to refill both the station itself and also our rusty dusty trusty little pods here. So we are going to rename craft, rename vessel. space station. So it's going to be a station. Station Apollo ready. So this is Station Apollo ready. And what does that mean, ready? It means that it's in orbit, it's ready for its crew and any missions that's going to undertake. But anyway, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up now. I do thank everyone for tuning in today. I will be starting up my Kerbal space program. I'm going to be tossing it in there maybe 3-4 times a month. It's not going to be a whole weekly thing or every day or anything close to that, because it does take, you start with nothing and you have a mission profile, and maybe the mission is multiple episodes or multiple live streams or whatever. But today I just wanted to give a massive shout out to the all the people that made possible the landing on the moon. Everyone from Werner von Braun and the people who rescued the scientists from the Nazis. And I mean, it's a whole big chain reaction, all the way from the Nazis all the way up from World War I, all that. So all the people that made the moon landing possible. Just want to give a you know, there's some shady characters in there too that we won't mention, but everyone that made it possible to have a human being walk on the moon and fly in space and all that. I just want to say a massive thank you, and I'm humbled by the fact that up until a few years ago, the first human being to set foot on a body outside of the Earth was living among us, and he was a very humble, caring person, a really true hero, a real guy to look up to and role model. And we don't have a lot of those anymore, unfortunately, that are way up there in the spotlight on the, you know, out for everyone to see. But to the Armstrong family, to Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins and all the families from the engineers that made it all possible, I just want to say thank you. I love you guys. We have this incredible feat that you guys ended up pulling off that can never be undone, and it's just amazing and incredible, and it always blows my mind. And every time a person sits in some giant contraption and goes up there in space, it just makes my heart swell, and it really points out and highlights the fact that when we want to do something, we can do it. And we just have to put our collective heads together and quit fighting and bickering, and just work together and solve the problems that we have today. We don't have to go back to the moon right now, but we have people that are starving, even though we have a surplus of food, and we have all kinds of suffering in the world that don't need to be happening, and for various reasons. But anyway, I just want to say thank you guys for tuning in, and as always, love yourself, love everyone around you, kindness always and first. Peace.